Timeless, refined, bridal looks are so in for 2026, and that is exactly what I do here at Adara Makeup. And today I'm showing you start to finish how I do my signature bridal makeup look, including some newness and some tried, tested, and loved products. Every bridal look starts with skin prep. I always start by assessing my bride's needs, what her skin type is, and the overall look that we're going for. Today I will be using this Dieux Air Angel Hydrating Facial Gel Cream because I'm a combo girly, and we will be trying out the new NARS Radiant Matte Foundation. So I don't want to go super dewy with my base, as I really want to give this a good test drive. I have already done my skin prep, so we're going to move right on to the eyes. I always like to prime my eyes with a little bit of concealer. My favorite go-to is the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. My shade is the shade Ginger. The aim is just to neutralize any redness or discoloration on the eyelids, just so we have a really clear canvas for all our eyeshadows. Once my concealer is on, I'm just setting it with a little bit of NARS Translucent Crystal setting powder just to keep it in place and make sure none of our eyeshadow creases or catches on the concealer. I'm going to start building the eye using Makeup by Mario's Ethereal Eyes palette in the Nature edition. I really love using this palette because it has a really good mix of tones for everyday and a little bit more glam looks. I'm going in with this soft brown shade, and I'm just going to start carving out my crease. What makes the look timeless is keeping the eyes really pared back and just using makeup to enhance what's there. So we're actually only going to be using maybe 1 or 2 more colors, because all I want to do is frame the eyes and add a little bit of dimension using some soft shimmers right on the center of the lid. I'm going in with this deeper brown that's a little bit more warm, just on the outer corners of my eye, again just to frame it a little bit further. Now I'm going in with a little bit of a tapered brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this soft pink color in my crease, and I'm going just a little bit above where my fold is. Now that I'm happy with how that's looking, I'm going to build my shimmers. On my gorgeous bride, I actually used this beautiful shade that actually is a little bit more of a pinky white gold shift. So on her fair complexion, this worked really well. I might go a little bit more bronze to complement my complexion. So we might be doing a little bit of a mix here of the 2 shades. These Danessa shades are so stunning. They're super finely milled and they just catch the light perfectly. Remember, timeless means everything is a little bit more pared back. No one element really stands out. Everything works in cohesion to really enhance your bride's natural beauty. So as you haven't really picked up much more of that secondary shimmer, I just have what I had on my finger and I'm working off of that. I'm just going to do a little check. I am happy with how the eyes are looking. Let's move on to our lashes. I'm going to give my lashes a good curl. And today I will actually be using this eyeliner by Lithe. This is a high definition gel liner in the color 100% black. What really caught my eye about this eyeliner is that it is a gel liner that is meant to be waterproof, and I love how easily it glides. So we're gonna go ahead and give that a go. As you can see, that's just gliding right on. There's barely any skipping. And I actually have already tried this on 2 of my clients. One was a mature client who had a little bit of watery eyes. And as we know, eyeliner tends to run really easily on that kind of eye shape. So she told me that she had to work hard to get it off at the end of the night, and there was no bleeding. And the other client that I tested this on was my bride-to-be, and she was Asian with eyes that typically do a lot of transferring, and it actually worked really well on her as well. So I'm excited to give it a try on myself. I love how fine the liner is. If you can see, the tip is super fine, so we really don't have to work hard to get it nice and thin on the eyes. A really neat thing about this eyeliner is that they have a really small angle brush just on the back, so I'm going to use that now to define my wing further. I'm just working in small, short strokes to get the liner right where I want it. Now that eyeliner is done, I'm going to quickly set my brows. To do my brows, I'm just using Lithe, their UHD Brow Sculpt in the shade Clear. I don't typically favor like a super laminated brow, so I do appreciate that this isn't just gluing them down and I still have some play time. For brows, I always like to just keep them really natural. Fill them in where needed. As a majority of my clients don't wear makeup on a day-to-day basis, giving them a full brow would just be a little bit too out of their comfort zone. So we always want to make sure every step of the makeup is really thought through with the client's preferences and their comfort level in mind. Okay, I'm happy with how that's looking. Let's move on to the foundation. I don't know if you guys can see, but getting the liner, we're definitely putting work in, and I'm actually really excited to see how well this lasts on my eyes. So today I will be trying out NARS, the new foundation that just came out earlier this week. It's the Natural Matte Longwear Foundation Weightless Wear Soft Focus Blur. Blur is definitely the buzzword for 2026. We've seen a lot of products come out promising a blurred soft focus finish. One of the first brands that comes to mind is Danessa Myricks, and if you've seen any of my stuff, you know that I absolutely love her Yummy Blurring Balm, which is a staple in all my skin prep for myself and my clients. However, to really give this foundation a true test drive today, all I have on is my Dieux Air Angel moisturizer, and I'm just going on top of that with the foundation. Having worked for NARS, I do know that they don't typically suggest using a brush. very finger forward application when you work with NARS products. So I'm actually just gonna go and get one full pump. That should be enough for my whole face, but we'll see. I did go for a different shade. I usually use Barcelona medium 4, but I wanted to try Cordova medium 3.75 because it does have more of an olive undertone, which you can clearly see here. And I can already tell that this is going to be way too much for me. So I'm just going to thin it out, and I'm going to start in the center of my face, working outwards. The consistency is super thin. It's really, really easy to blend. I can just feel it melting with the warmth of my fingers into my skin as I press it in. And it feels super weightless on my skin. I literally don't feel it on. Now, are we happy with the shade match? I'm going to have to grab my mirror and take a closer look from where I'm sitting. It does look good. I feel like my skin does have a little bit more of the peachy tones that Barcelona usually gives me. So maybe it's just that I'm using an olive tone foundation for the very first time. Okay, yes, it looks really, really pretty on. I really love the feel of it. It truly is weightless. Since my skin is combo and a bit dry due to my psoriasis, I probably could have used a little bit more hydration on my skin because this is a mattifying foundation, so we're not expecting a lot of hydration, but the skin still looks really radiant. Not as glowy as this side, but it's not looking absolutely flat either, which I do appreciate. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the other side. A big part of complexion forward artistry is that your complexion really, I work hard to make it look like skin, like it doesn't have layers of foundation on it. I like it to feel natural in person. I want it to feel natural for the clients when they're wearing it, because that's also the type of makeup that I personally like to wear. I don't like feeling heavy foundation on my skin. So in terms of the weightless claim, it's a 10 on 10. And that is one full pump of the NARS Natural Matte Radiant Foundation. I'm going to go ahead and do my concealer. I absolutely love using the NARS Under Eye Brightener. This is my go-to. This is an impossible dream. And I just pick it up with my finger, warm it up on the back of my hand, and I just press it under my eyes. This does two things. It helps neutralize any darkness under my eyes and it brightens. So it's a 2-in-1, and we love multitasking products. So now that all my complexion products are on, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a quick set with the NARS Translucent Crystal Powder. I personally don't prefer using colored powder to set foundations, especially when I am doing custom mixes for my clients, because the last thing I want is for the color of the pressed powder to shift the overtone and ruin all that hard work. I find that translucent powders work beautifully. They actually have more of a blur, and I can really control the shade match in that way. Now I'm just going to bring some dimension back into my face using the NARS bronzer in Casino. Just using a nice fluffy brush. I like to go from the top of my ear down and no farther than the arch of my brow, because I want the bronzer to just give me warmth but not drag my face down or make it look muddy. Whatever's left on the brush, I'm just going to go on the sides of my nose. I'm just pinching my brush just to give it a little bit of a shape there. For blush, I'm actually using KJH, Katie Jane Hughes brand, and this is her blush in Soft Cherry. Just going to put some on the back of my hand. And I'm just using a brush to just dab that right on the center of my cheeks. I always try to lift my face with the blush. And we're just going to tap, tap, tap and blend it in. Put a touch on the tip of my nose. I know this blush looks really intimidating, but on olive tones, it just gives that really beautiful, freshly pinched cheeks look, and it mimics a real flush because remember, we don't blush peach or mauve. We actually blush like a flushed pink color, like blood is rushing to the surface of your skin. And so colors like this one, this Soft Cherry by KJH, and also another favorite of mine recently is the Road in Date Cake. I love that one too. Just putting a touch of that in the crease of my eye. Once everything looks nice and blended, I'm going to move on to highlighter. For highlighter, also I'm using the KJH brand highlight in light gold, and I'm just going in with one pump of her serum, her Hyper Shine serum. And just the way Katie likes to do it, I'm just using a dense brush. You can see it's not a crazy intense highlight, but on my complexion it'll be just enough to highlight the high points of my face and give me lots of dimension, especially because we're working with a really mattifying foundation, and I personally do like a bit of a glow, so I'm just making sure that my face still catches the light and looks really radiant. I'm just going to circle back and finish up the eyes. I love using a nude color in my waterline. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Super Nudes Liner Duo, and I'm using the illuminating side. That just opens up the eyes. And that looks good to me. I'll be using the NARS Climax mascara to do my lashes, and on this model I didn't put any falsies, and I personally also don't like to wear falsies unless it's like a photo shoot. So today I'm also just going to do mascara and build that and not do any lashes. Going to hit the bottom lashes with a touch of mascara. Nothing too crazy, but it just helps frame the eyes. And just to finish up the eyes, I'm just taking this dark brown, and I'm going to just softly run it just under my lashes. I'm using this beautiful highlighter by Haus Labs called Peach Quartz, and I'm just going to highlight the inner corners of my eye. And just make sure to connect it to the rest of the eyeshadow. For my lip liner, I'm just using this beautiful shade by Eldridge in the shade Beauty. just like that. And just to keep everything really monochromatic, I'm actually just going to be using the soft smudge lip and cheek. Again, just on the back of my hand and putting it just in the center of my lip, just to give it a really nice, just kissed look, which is perfect for bridal. Now that the look is pretty much done, I'm just going to take a minute to refine. Make sure both cheeks are looking nice and balanced. And take my powder brush, make sure there's no harsh lines or edges anywhere on the face. Making sure all the colors really just melt together. Nothing is too obviously standing out. Okay, and that is my signature bridal makeup look for 2026 done.